make some popcorn, dim the lights, and don't invite your friends. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies best enjoyed alone. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at films that, given their subject matter, mood, and/or atmosphere, would be best watched in a quiet, contemplative, and solitary setting. Number 10, Into the Wild.
Maybe when I get back, I can write a book about my travels, you know?
A true story, and a best-selling book prior, Into the Wild recreates the experiences of Chris McCandless. He was a young man who left Fairfax, Virginia, to live in the Alaskan wilderness by himself, to escape the trappings of city-based modernity, and instead return to a simpler way of life. It's a brilliant character study about idealism, identity, our longing for meaning, and the importance of human connection.
But you're wrong if you think that the joy of life comes principally from human relationships. God's placed it all around us, it's in everything.
While you'll surely want to discuss the film with friends after having watched it, in order to do the movie justice and really soak in the questions it's asking, like its protagonist, you should embark on this voyage alone.
If you want something in life, reach out and grab it.
Number 9, Contagion.
Running? Oh, Beth, hey.
Directed by Steven Soderbergh, Contagion tells the story of a deadly viral pandemic. By following the experiences of specialists, everyday citizens, and a conspiracy theorist, it delivers a visceral and complete multi-perspective view of what such a scenario would feel like.
Someone doesn't have to weaponize the bird flu. The birds are doing that.
You should watch it for the star-studded cast, and the grounded take on an apocalyptic scenario. Another reason to watch it alone, though, is to avoid seeing yourself become a paranoid germaphobe who begins casting sideways glances at your friends as you become increasingly suspicious that they might make you sick with whatever microscopic bacteria that they're surely crawling with.
Somewhere in the world, the wrong pig met up with the wrong bat.
Number 8, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
How far are you going?
Rockville Center.
Get out. Me too.
Most of us have got one. You know, that past relationship that you'd love to forget? Well, in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it's medically possible to erase specific memories. Sadly, such is not the case in reality. But as this film explores, when it comes to formative interpersonal connections, even with medical intervention, moving on or forgetting is never that simple.
Show me which constellations you're in.
I don't know any.
This introspective comedy drama takes a deep dive into the nature of relationships, and will likely force you to mentally revisit your own past relationships with fresh insight. Considering the mental retrospective road trip that inevitably ensues, you're gonna want to be alone with your thoughts.
Please let me keep this memory. Just this one.
Number 7, Requiem for a Dream.
I'm somebody now, Harry. Everybody likes me.
Requiem for a Dream is undeniably a great film, but this story of addiction is as bleak as it is interesting. Without getting into any explicit spoilers, it does not end well for any of the characters. And while there are flashes of hope throughout, the path taken by the film to reach its dark conclusion is a rather grim one.
Getting the money is not the problem, Harry.
What is the problem, for Christ's sake?
You should absolutely watch it, yes, but you're not going to have the heart or willpower to do much of anything for the rest of the night. So you might as well watch another Darren Aronofsky film that's best watched alone, The Fountain.
But every shadow, no matter how deep, is threatened by morning light.
Number 6, The Road.
It's when you start to dream about good things that you should start to worry.
Adapted from Cormac McCarthy's award-winning novel, The Road is a Viggo Mortensen-led post-apocalyptic drama. There are no zombies or authoritarian regimes. What we get instead is a bleak, barren, and sparsely populated landscape. For much of the film, it's just a father and son trying to survive in the wreckage of our world.
We have to. We will survive this. We are not gonna quit.
It's a slow-moving and contemplative take on the human will to survive, even in the face of very little hope. It's minimalistic about small things, moments, gestures, and the like. But you need to be similarly quiet and contemplative to appreciate the stoic beauty of it all, which company would only complicate.
And I always believed in it. You try to get ready for it?
Number 5, Lost in Translation.
For relaxing times, make it Centauri time.
Written and directed by Sofia Coppola, Lost in Translation is a film that offers very little in terms of plot. It's basically a premise and the slow development of platonic friendship. This lack of conventional plot points or on-screen developments might be frustrating to some viewers. And if you've got friends with you who are ill-suited for this decidedly uneventful type of cinema, they might drag you out of it with them. But while it may appear mundane at times, Lost in Translation says a whole lot about human nature and our longing for connection and meaning.
Does it get easier?
No. Yes.
Number 4, Her.
What do I call you? Do you have a name?
Yes. Samantha.
Like a few other films on our list today, Spike Jonze's brilliant romantic drama, set in the near future, is all about relationships. Although in this case, the main relationship that develops is between a man and his artificially intelligent operating system, as brilliantly played by disembodied Scarlett Johansson.
I've seen you feel joy, I've seen you marvel at things.
The thing is, people tend to have a very different experience while watching this film depending on their own past relationships. And in order to get the most out of the movie, you should avoid having your takeaway colored by the opinions and interpretations of others.
I still find myself having conversations with her in my mind.
Number 3, Gravity.
Gotta admit one thing. Can't beat the view.
In this case, it's not about having company distract you from the subtleties. Instead, Gravity is best experienced alone because of the interplay between space and solitude. Yes, seeing it in a packed theater was how most people saw it, but it's really best when, like Sandra Bullock's character, you can feel lost and adrift in all that emptiness. Sound is also a big factor.
I don't know, I'm spinning, I can't.
The incidental music, soundtrack, and sound effects are all masterfully used to create a visceral experience that ramp up the tension and emotional gravitas. And having someone whisper in your ear will absolutely ruin that.
But the thing is that I'm still scared. I'm really scared.
Number 2, The Shawshank Redemption.
If you want to keep all that money, give it to your wife.
Frank Darabont's dramatic masterpiece is considered one of the greatest films ever made. It's something that everyone should see at least once. But really, there's nothing worse than watching it for the first time with a fan in tow, extolling its many virtues in a way that makes the whole thing feel very forced.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
At 2 hours and 22 minutes, it's a lengthy and often slow film, and easily bored or restless company can just as easily take you out of the mood. This is a film that invites emotional investment, so watch it alone and really get yourself lost in the story and characters.
I wonder where 10 years went.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I won't settle for anything less than the brutal truth.
You know, you've been up here too long, man. You've lost your marbles.
Number 1, Shame.
You're going gray.
Shame follows Brandon Sullivan, an executive and sex addict. Though you might expect this to serve as the setup for one steamy scene after another, you'd be severely disappointed. It is jam-packed with sex, but the activities are frank, raw, and uncomfortable and devoid of cinematic magic. This is a deeply unsexy exploration of crippling addiction and depravity, an investigation of how sexual addiction can both hijack and potentially destroy a person's life.
I'm your sister, we're family, we're meant to look after each other.
You're not looking after me. I'm looking after myself.
I'm trying.
Shame is both challenging and worthwhile, but watching it with company will make your skin crawl and likely bring your hangout to a crashing, uncomfortably silent halt.
I like the way it feels.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.